Hey, what's up? What's up? It's Tuesday. Yeah, I'm trying to at my home away from home in the hotel. Yeah, so I didn't have a guest this week. I've reached out. Shoot, I got uh, about 6 or 7. I'm waiting on pretty much committed, just don't know a date yet. So it's some good ones, some known people, and ought to be good conversations. But I wanted to get on today. Um, I don't like talking too much politics. I know when I first moved back, we used to have parties at my house, and rule was if you talked any politics, that you had to leave. You had to leave the party, and majority of us, we all have kind of the same beliefs, but I didn't want somebody to be there that didn't like what we were saying, and uh, I pretty much have friends that I don't agree with, but I don't want to ruin a friendship over politics. So, anyway, just I know the debate's coming on. Uh, I don't watch it. I usually, if I do watch it, and I'll just tell y'all, go over to um, Louder with Crowder has a funny one. They have a drinking game with it where he might have a list of if Donald Trump says certain words, you have to take a drink. If Kamala Harris laughs or cackles, you have to take a drink. He has usually has a list for both candidates. Pretty funny. It's a good debate, and they fact check. I mean, they have a staff. I don't have a staff to sit there and fact check each candidate. You know, Donald Trump exaggerates stuff, and they'll fact check it. Kamala Harris will say something. Um, and that was one thing that I wanted to kind of get into. Um, Seen a video from NBC interviewing Bernie Sanders, and understand this: I vote policies. Um, is either candidate great? No, but I understand policies and how it affects my pocketbook. I could care less if I don't particularly. I knew who Trump was before he even ran for office. He's a very confident, arrogant butthole. but it takes that to take $5 million that he was given and turn it into billions of dollars. So look, that's just my opinion. I vote policies. What's going to affect me? What's going to affect my family? I have my parents at the house now. Um, I've heard people say, "Look, I make decent living doing what I do. I don't make nothing off this podcast. Would I like to? Yes, but you know, I make a decent living. My parents retired. They wanted to get back to Florida, where we all grew up, where their family is, and I knew if they wanted to do that, that I had the opportunity to say, "Hey, why don't y'all move down?" And had a house, gonna do um, an addition. Then we decided sell my house, buy a house that benefited everybody, and they live in the big house. I took the house out back because I'm never there, and I don't need much space. So policies again, whatever affects me, my family, uh, just stuff I want to do, freedoms, um, like talking on the internet. And I forgot to download one of the videos I wanted to discuss with Kamala Harris's interview with Jake Tapper, and her basically saying she wants to that free speech is getting out of control. Basically, it's out of control because they don't agree with people that think. And again, if you've watched Beyond the Ramp with Cowboy Preacher, we have discussed this. We did politics last week, and I'm kind of going back into it. And the it's Beyond the Ramp, Pathos, and politics. And before I get into the two videos, one of them's like 3 minutes long that I'm on pause talk about. But I wanted to read you the definition of pathos and methods. And the reason why I did that because this is what this election has come down to, and it ain't half the country votes for policy, half the country has their pathos. And so here it is. I'm no scholar. I am a country redneck that has some smarts, and I kind of hide it so nobody knows how smart I am. And I like to keep it that way. So, pathos um, um, appeals to the emotions and the ideas of the audience, and elicits feelings that already reside in them. Pathos is a term used most often in rhetoric, in which it is considered one of the three modes of persuasion, alongside ethos and logos, as well as literature, film, and other narrative arts. So basically, feelings. And if you watch the DNC, their campaign up till yesterday is on vibes, and that don't make me feel good as a citizen of the United States. Uh, I can't pay bills on vibes unless I'm a influencer that rakes in, you know, $10,000 a month. Um, I don't. So vibes don't pay bills, and so I want to talk about methods. So methods and pathos, emotional appeal can be accomplished in many ways, such as the following. And again, Pathos is emotional. Um, by a metaphor or storytelling, commonly known as the hook. Well, storytelling, you can tell storytelling to me can be two things. You're actually telling a story to get your point across or your vibe across, or storytelling is flat out lying. And that's been going on for the last um since 2016, big time. Yeah, I mean it's just ramped up. Russia hoax, very fine people hoax, and if you think that that's real, you haven't ever watched the real video or actually heard the real speech. So I don't want to hear anything about that if you've never done research outside of listening to the mainstream media. I will just tell you, MSNBC is probably the most blatant lying media that there is. I thought CNN was the worst. No, and and I was doing research on what these people make and understand. They talk to you, all of them, from Joey Reid to Joe Scarborough. Joey Reid's the lowest paid person and lies the most. So does Joe Scarborough. They all lie. Minimum $4 million a year. Joe Scarborough, $35 million a year, plus or minus. So understand they don't give a rat's ass about any of us that actually work for a living and live paycheck to paycheck. And so I'm saying all that because I just want to get that off my chest. Because if you think the government's batting 1,000 and you want more government, you are off your rocker. And if this offends any of y'all, look, I'm too old to give a crap anymore what y'all think about me or anything. So let me continue with this emotional pathos that seems to be half the country and don't want to hear anything else, don't want to even know about all the crap going on with that 25% influx into one town of immigrants that could care less about obeying uh, American traditions. They could care less. And I work with guys, and I'm actually trying to get one on that runs a dirt company that's doing dirt work for us. And he come from Honduras, come here the right way, has built himself up, has a big dirt company now. Great guy. Great guy. He hates all this that's going on because he did it the right way. And man, I mean, we talk fishing. He's bought some rods from me, and I'm trying to get him on to tell his story, how his dad came over here and him and all that. So, what? Oh, it moved around on me. Okay. Emotional appeal can be accomplished in many ways, such as the following: a metaphor or storytelling known as the hook, by passion in a delivery of speech or writing as determined by the audience, by a personal anecdote. Appealing to an ideal can also be handled in various ways, such as the following: by understanding the reason for their position, which that is not happening because I can talk to a lot of people, they don't understand anything that's going on. Avoiding attacks against a person or audience personality. Use the attributes of the ideal to reinforce the message. Pathos tends to use loaded words that will get some sort of reaction. Racist. Um, what's weird? That's their new word. DNC. Donald Trump's weird. JD Vance is weird. So what? I'm weird. I'm weird. I mean, if you see my sock collection, I'm weird. Um, Examples could include victim. I'm a victim. Um, in a number of different contexts, in certain situation, pathos may be described as a guilt trip. Basically, hey, if you don't, uh, if you don't use my correct pronouns or understand where I'm coming from, then you're homophobic, transphobic, whatever phobic there is. I could care less. Is And for the most part, the thinking people, we don't care how you live your life. Just don't force it on me. That's that comes down to it. The working people, most working people, when you start forcing stuff like the mask mandates, you the working people, the thinking people, we're gonna buck the system. As is, if you ask me nicely, hey, you might want, or tell me, hey, you might want to wear your mask because of this, and then let me make my decision. Don't tell me I have to, because the older I get, the more hard headed I am. I was already hard headed, so I'm even more now. Um, Based on the speaker trying to make someone in the audience or the entire audience feel guilty about something. Um, an example would be, well, you don't have to visit me, but I just really miss you and haven't seen you in a long time. That's just an example. So, I mean, I heard the reason why I chose Pathos. I was watching Tim Cass last night, and uh, Raheem Kassam, one of the guests on there, he was talking about Pathos and the emotional election that this is for half the country. Um, I'm sorry again. All this election is about how's it going to benefit me and my family, my pocketbook, and being able to continue to live the way I want. And just quick example, and I've said it before on podcasts on Thursday night. 5 years ago, when I paid my bills at the end of the week, I had a minimum of $2,000 in my bank account. Now, at the end of the week, after paying my bills, I may have 500, paying the same bills. And they've been telling us for 4 years that it has gotten better. It has not. It's gotten worse. Even the company I work with, it's pretty bad right now. I'm thankful that I still have a job, but that could end at any moment. They have laid off. I mean, we had like 200 people, and so far, let's see, probably 50 people have been laid off. So the good thing is, I built myself up since I was 11 years old and learned this stuff, and I'm good at what I do. And right now, uh, they can't get rid of me or stuff we got going on. But anyway, but it could happen. I've learned one thing that in '09, if it comes down to their family and me, I'm gone. And loyalty went out the window in '09. And, I mean, we could talk about the work industry right now because I see it all the time with the subs we have on the thing. So, all right. So, the one video, the first video I'm gonna show is Bernie Sanders. And when I say they don't give a crap about you And what I love, the best thing I love about this whole thing with Kamala getting in is, they keep saying that uh, the people that vote for Donald Trump himself, J.D. Vance, they are a threat to democracy. Well, I'll be honest with you, they shit on democracy when they installed Kamala without letting the people vote for her to get in. They just said, Kamala's she's like the Obamacare. Just pass it and then you can read it. And if she finally has a platform now, she posted it yesterday, a day before the debate, on her stuff, right? And so a lot of the stuff is contradictory to what she's been doing the last 4 years. I've read some of it, and I'm just laughing because what Bernie Sanders is fixing to say is how they treat their party. And again, I could care less about any of the parties. I'm voting the best candidate that's going to help me out. But Bernie Sanders says the part out loud that I just got tickled because basically saying, yeah, she's just saying this best way she knows how so she can get elected and then go back to her progressive ideas. So I'm going to let you listen to this and then I'll discuss it. Ready?
President Kamala Harris as a progressive. She has previously supported Medicare for All. Now she does not. She's previously supported a ban on fracking. Now she does not. These, Senator, are ideas that you have campaigned on. Do you think that she is abandoning her progressive ideals?
No, I don't think she's abandoning her ideals. I think she's trying to be pragmatic and doing what she thinks is right in order to win the election.
So, I mean, you see what he just said? She is saying, I mean, a lot of the stuff, basically, if you go and read her platform, it says all these things that Trump's been saying for years. I mean, his platform, and they keep bringing up Project 2025. Trump ain't got nothing to do with Project 2025. The guy that started it was on Timcast RL, and they have no affiliation with Trump. It's stuff that they would like to see Trump do, but Trump has no affiliation with it. But they keep bringing it up and keep lying to you, basically appealing to your emotions, your pathos. But Bernie Sanders just said what they did by installing Kamala. She's been lying about Joe Biden's deteriorating health. They do not care about their party and the people in their party at all. And right there, he's saying she's going to tell you everything you want to hear. Yes, I'm going to fix the economy. Yes, I'm going to fix the border. She ain't going to do none of that. She's going to keep it as is. If you go through that and read some of the stuff, especially on the border, it is not what she's saying it is. She has kept it vague where y'all just believe anything she says. So anyway, but this next one, I'll probably pause it. It's 3-4 minutes long. I'm not going to be much longer. The CNN one tripped me out because a guy actually did investigative work on Kamala and how she's changed her positions, but her campaign people have not got back to him and won't comment on what he's found, and it's CNN, which was surprising. So let's start this, and I'll probably pause, and I might not, but anyway, it was very interesting. I thought it was. So let's listen to it.
Kamala Harris releasing details of her policy positions for the first time on her campaign website. A K-file investigation has uncovered, meantime, a 2019 questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on
Understand, I'm just going to say she is even during when she ran for president and didn't get one delegate, she was trying to be even further left than Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is a socialist. Kamala Harris, I could go and find a video. I'm not going to do it tonight, but she basically embraces communism. And if you hadn't seen that video, then shame on you for not researching, but let's continue.
Immigration. So in 2019, in what K-File found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. K-File's Andrew Kaczynski.
I mean, she just said it. She ran on in 2019 that she wanted to defund ICE. Basically, let's just open the borders. And now she's cracking down on it right before the election to make you think that she's actually doing. And she even came out and said, "Oh, it's lower than it was." Yeah, because you've just stopped it 4 years later after you let 10 million that we know of, and it's probably 18 million immigrants in here illegally. So anyway, let's keep.
Joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers. And I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take immigration and look at what she said here. She said on immigration, she made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said,
okay. I mean, let's just go to number 2. Why would I want to pay for gender transition surgery for somebody that's here illegal? But again, that goes back to Pathos, that and y'all can get mad if you want, the liberal women, a lot of them white, is the problem with the emotions. And that's an emotional taxpayer crap I don't want to fund. Anyway, let me keep going.
Taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she supported that.
She both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. Oh. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
I mean, these are things that, you know, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants, and yet this, as you say, written and verbally. You know, what else?
What I got tickled when I watched this the first time was that lady. I already knew all this crap. If you've been paying attention, you already knew what she ran on before, that she didn't get one delegate. Not one. That's why she had to drop out. This lady has never seen this. She's at a loss for words. She doesn't even understand it, and CNN sucks. Anyway,
What else, did you find?
Well, let's take a look at her answer here on drugs. She got asked about the question from the ACLU was, since drug use is better addressed as a public health issue through treatment and other programming, will you support the decriminalization at the federal level of all drug possession for personal use? And Harris answers yes. Now, what would that mean? Well, it mean the federal all drug possession. That's not just marijuana, which she alluded to in her answer to this question, but it also would mean
it's federal level of all drug possession,
fentanyl, crack,
use.
Yes. Cocaine, things like that. Yeah.
Have they responded to you on her changes on these issues?
So we did put this question to the Harris campaign about the entire ACLU questionnaire, and the Harris campaign didn't answer any questions from CNN. Instead, they just provided a statement from an unnamed Harris campaign advisor that just said, the vice president's positions have been shaped by 3 years of effective governance as part of the Biden-Harris administration.
Okay. So this whole time that she got installed, or the coup that happened to kick Joe Biden off, she has tried to say that she doesn't have nothing that, it's like, oh, I was hamstring. Joe, she run the border. I don't give a crap what you say. She run the border. There was some other things she run. She just admitted, one of her campaign people admitted that she is a part of an effective governance of the Biden administration that's going on right now. Do you feel that they've been effective in their governance? If you have lost some marbles somewhere along the way.
Administration. Now, they declined to CNN to elaborate on what those positions were, and then they also provided this statement, which they attributed to a spokesperson saying, as president, she will take that same pragmatic approach, focusing on common sense solutions for the sake of progress. So where does she stand on this? All this questionnaire today, we don't know, and they won't say.
There's that word pragmatic that Bernie Sanders used, basically saying she's going to lie to you so she can get in office and then go back to her progressive ways. So if you think that, and hey, more power to you if you want to vote for somebody that has no clue what they're doing at all. And that the way the economy is right now, it will stay the same and it will get worse. It will get worse under Kamala Harris. And by the way, those of you that don't know, okay, we can remove that. If you haven't been paying attention, when Trump said he's going to do no tax on tip, and then all of a sudden Kamala Harris says, oh, I'm going to do no tax on tip. Well, just so you understand, in the Senate, because it's a slim majority of the Democrats, the tax on tip bill, I don't know exactly what it was called. There was a tie in the Senate. Well, if you don't know how things work, the vice president is the tiebreaker in the Senate. So this has happened a few times this year, or the last 4 years, where they've actually tied in the Senate on a bill, and she is the one that has to come in and vote yay or nay on the bill. So the taxes that are on tips right now is Kamala Harris. She voted yes to tax tips. That is her. And now she's saying, I'm going to do no tax on tips. I just find it hilarious. There's so many more things that she was in the Senate and had to come in because of the ties that have affected all of us. I could go in, like I said, I don't have a research team. That's why I watch people I know that actually have researchers that actually try to find the truth. Where videos that get put out are not the full videos and they're cut up to make it seem like it's saying something else or the person saying something else that they took it out of context. And that has gone on for the last 8 years. So, anyway, I just want to get all that crap off my chest as far as um, politics and how I feel about this whole thing and understand, yeah, I might be voting a certain way, but I do know that there might be out of how many Congress people are there? 400 and something Congress people. There might be 10 that actually give a shit about the people working. And the ones that actually do actually used to have jobs, have actually worked a job. Kamala Harris ain't ever worked a job. I don't give a crap what you think about Trump. He worked his ass off to take $5 million and turn it into billions of dollars. So, was there some shady things? Yeah, probably. Because I don't know what it's like to have that kind of money. So I don't know how all that thing works, but I do know he worked. She's never held a job. She's gotten it through I mean, Willie Brown is the one, and don't y'all need to do some research of her time as district attorney or attorney general, whatever, out in California. She sucked and made stuff worse for California, even on the immigration stuff. So, again, it comes down to one side is voting on emotions, and one side is voting on what's going to help their family. And that's the only thing I'd ask you to do. But you got to understand and research that you went 50 days and had no platform, and then you put it out at the last minute where nobody has time to look at it. Okay. And you're going to get up there and lie and say everything you're going to do that you could have been doing this whole 4 years. Could have been doing the whole 4 years. You're going to lie about it to try to get people to vote for you. And I just think it's pretty shitty that we're in this situation. And yeah, that's all I got to say. I'm not going to take up any more time. I want to get on here. I wanted to be consistent, have a Tuesday night. I do have some guests that are coming, some cool stories of people that have been low and brought themselves up. And yeah, I mean, I can't tell you until I know I got them coming. But a couple of them are real good and that are known, pretty well known, uh, kind of throughout the country, world, whatever. But hopefully I'll have them on soon. Anyway, check out. I didn't even mention, and I'll leave with this. The sponsors tonight, of course, is Powercore Rods, as always. Boat Ramp 10 gets you 10% off the Core Series rods. Kraken Jigz, KrakenJigz. Boat Ramp 10, all caps, gets you 10% off the whole site. If you're into the slow pitch jigging community. Also, GFB Fishing, which is www.girlsfishbetter.com. And that's all caps GFB Fishing 20. Gets you 20% off the Obsession Series rods and combos through the end of this month. I think I think it's already taken it off, so you don't have to worry about it. But the code's there, and then as always, shout out to Okeechobee Rustic Company. Go bug someone else because in fishing and construction, that mosquito spray is a lifesaver, and no no oily feeling. Yeah, it works. No bites. Um, anyway, Thursday night, uh, Beyond the Ramp with Cowboy Preacher, we're going to talk about worry. Basically how it affects you physically and mentally, and we'll be talking about some life experiences and stuff we've been through, and what the Bible says about worry, and it comes down to that sound mind and mentality to uh, handle that. So anyway, also Friday night, Two Guys One Dock. Uh, the question is, what is one thing? If you could change one thing in fishing, what would it be? And also might be doing a podcast with the high school football team on a post game podcast. We're trying to work out some details, but that will be happening late on Friday nights. So anyway, just if you're on YouTube, subscribe, like it, share it. Facebook, do the same, like it, share it. Tell everybody the only way to build this up is word of mouth. I am going to be putting um, a Cash App on thing. That's up to you. But what we're trying to do, I'm trying to hire a young person that is interested in uh, getting into producing. And we're also looking into having our own coffee where purchases and the Cash App will help us be able to hire somebody to make the podcast better. So that's all I got. Appreciate your time. And I'm going to get out of here with that new little video that I was playing around with for the boat ramp. And see y'all Thursday night. Thanks.